My name is Jessica Norwood, and I'm inspired to give I Believe in You money to folks that dare to dream bigger for themselves and communities. This is the kind of investment that signals love in action. Join me each episode as I talk to wisdom keepers, philanthropists, other investors, and entrepreneurs about investing in an economy that loves Black people. This is Believe in You money. Well, this is a real joy. This is a real joy. So, a lot of what I'm going to do today is I'll be building in more background stuff around what we're talking about. So, I'm going to get into like more of the meat of things in the conversation today. But I am going to start with to tell me where you are right now and what brought you there. What you doing? Where are you? What you doing? Um, and um, and then we'll move into some of the other more direct questions. But I think knowing where you are in the world right now is gonna really help ground us. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Yeah, first I'm just, I'm thrilled about the book. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for the world that's going to be able to have access to this brilliant book. So thank you for inviting me. It's just such an honor, pleasure. And yeah, I am right now. I'm looking out because right in front of me is this beautiful window with a pasture. I live on a 3,600 acre organic farm in mid Louisiana. So I'm in Alexandria, Louisiana, which was the home of the Choctaw people who are still very much here, not in this area in the parish, but a little bit more north of in this parish. And interestingly enough, my personal background intersects with the Choctaw folk. So anyway, that's where I am. I'm in Louisiana. I'm on a farm. I'd like to think that I'm a farmer, but really I'm the executive director of a nonprofit that farms. I'm here on this computer way too much and not enough in the field. And so I have a nonprofit that I founded called Jubilee Justice. And we work with Black farmers in the South, throughout the South.
You've been saying this for forever that you work at the intersection of land, race, money, and spirit.
That's right.
What does that mean?
Ooh, girl, this gets to the core of America as far as I'm concerned. When I think about this country and all its genesis and until this moment, land has been a central aspect of stolen land, right? Stolen land, land that is how wealth is equated with land in this country. Um, with land, there's wealth. Without land, there's not generational wealth, passing down land. And then the land, what we're doing to the land now, soil and its basis of all life. It's the basis of all life and how we're treating it now. The land is a huge part of the story of America, the continued story. So there's land and then there's race. Now, we don't have to say much about that. We know about now the stolen people from Africa. We look at the indigenous people here, whose land we are actually on, and the genocide and all that has happened. And so when we talk about land, race, then we have to talk about money, because at the core of all of that is finance, is money, and how money has become and has been for so long, been given so much power, and it's really not any of that. It's only, the power that we give it. And so land, race, and money, for me, when I think about the story of this country, is that intersection. And you can't talk about land without talking about race. You can't talk about race and land without money, and money without. And so it's like, it is a systemic issue that's all connected. And then spirit, because, the bottom line is that who are we really? Who are we really? Who is it that we really are? Who is it that we want to be? How are we connected no matter where we are on the planet? What is it that we really want? You know, I find that it doesn't matter who you are, what color you are, how you vote, any of it, because the one thing that people want is they want to be loved, right? They want to have a decent life. They want to be connected. They want to belong to each other and that spirit. And so basically, if I kept the conversation at land, race, and money, it would be a very heady conversation, and I'm cool with that. But then we bring it down, to another place, to the soul, to the heart, and with spirit. And so we we have those conversations in the presence of presencing a bigger picture.
How can regenerative agriculture be a way to repair our relationship to one another, to the planet, while centering Black people?
First of all, regenerative agriculture, I have to say, is a term that is being used widely now. If you look at Afro-Indigenous farming practices, it is what people are calling regenerative agriculture. And so really it's our heritage. The indigenous folks, Black folks, this is how we've been farming from the beginning. And it's come around full circle and been given this name, regenerative agriculture. So I will sometimes replace it with Afro-Indigenous farming practices, okay, which is the truth of it. Um, and so, but it begins by, first of all, to look at the question, to answer your question. I think we have to remember first what is sacred, okay? Because when we look at the rivers and the oceans and the eagles and even the so-called weeds in our garden, okay, it's all about understanding what is sacred, that this earth and its inhabitants and what grows here is all sacred. And so it requires us to become more intimate. It requires regenerative Afro-Indigenous ways of farming or approaching the land. It requires us to become more intimate, more proximate to the land. The way people are farming these days, of course, they are on big tractors. They never even touch the earth. They never even touch the earth. And so it requires that. So let's just say now that you want to get involved in these ways of dealing with the land, with farming. You have to get more intimate. You have to get more proximate. You have to touch the earth. You have to have a relationship. Basically, now you're creating a relationship with the soil. All right. And regenerative agriculture or Afro-Indigenous ways of farming are deeply relational. What's wrong with the way we approach farming in the earth now is that we have severed our relationship. We've severed it. And so when you get deeply relational, you also have to be able to believe in the things that you cannot see. When you put your hands in the soil and you start understanding that, it is so hard to harm yourself and others. It becomes harder and harder because you understand a bigger picture of life. And so then that's where resources need to come into this place. Resources need to come in to lift up, to repair what has been taken, to be able to lift up the resources that are needed in order for us to get our life back. We need to get our life back. We need to get our soil back. We need to get our hearts back. We need to get our love back. We need to get it all back. And regenerative agriculture and Black folks and human conditions on the planet is all one thing. There's no separation in my mind. And I'm experiencing it as that. I am literally sitting here letting you know I'm not talking just from the head. I'm talking about my everyday experience. That is what happens. And so that's what I think, where we need to be focused. And we really need to bring a lot of light and attention and resources to this part of our life.
Tell me about a personal story where you have received some Believe in You money, and when you have been a part of giving some Believe in You money. Either way to go
Yeah,
would be great. But I want to lift up like this through line because I know you practice this all the way through, around land, around spirit, around money, around food and farming and all these things. So when have you done this believe? When have you gotten this Believe in You money, and when have you maybe given it out?
it was December 2021. I got a phone call. Um, and the person on the phone, I had been talking to a few times on the phone, and I didn't know her. But it was a woman who was asking me about the ecosystem, like who's doing what in this ecosystem that I play in, which is around social justice and ag. And so I just like was happily spent hours on the phone, giving her all the names of all the organizations, all these people and that people, and who's doing great work that I know about. I have even a document of on my computer that I call landscape analysis that has a list of everybody and who's what and what, right? So I'm just like with lots of joy introducing her to this world that I'm a part of, that I'm very fortunate to be a part of. Amazing people doing amazing work for a long time, way before I got into the mix. And so I talked to her a couple of times, and I just gave her the information, and I knew that she was representing someone who wanted to put some resources into the ecosystem. And I was like, great, this is the one, do this, give her that, do that. So then months passed and I hadn't heard anything. And then I got this call and she said, I think you should sit down. I was like, all right. She was like, the person that I'm representing has decided how much she believes in you and what you're doing. Anonymous person. And she wants to give you $3 million. And I thought, the first thing that happened to me was I thought, wow. And then I thought, wait a minute. What about all those people that I gave you? What about them? What's happening for them? Stuff's happening for them too, right? And she said that, yes, some, but that she really wants to focus on Jubilee Justice because of the work that you're doing. And I said, this is wonderful. I sat down and I thought about it. And then I just said, yeah, let me call you back. And so the next day I phoned her back and I thought about it and I said, and I talked to my board chair and I told her what was happening and how I felt about it. And then I called her back the next day and I said, listen, I really want to thank you I want to accept the 3 million. Thank you so much. I mean, certainly we need it because we're building a whole infrastructure, literally a new system, a way of doing things here. And I want to ask you for more because I want to give some away to the people that I think have been overlooked. And she said, huh, what do you want? I said, $2 million. And she said, huh, let me go back to my person. And then she came back and said, she's giving you $1 million to give away. And so then I was able to create a whole another structure that thank you for being a part of, Jessica. Thank you so much for being a part of. And we gave away $1 million and now I got another million to give away. And so that was someone who I had never met, but really did a lot of digging because she told me about myself, stuff about my life that I didn't know she knew. So they did a lot of digging. And the thing that she said is that, We really believe in what you're doing and believe that you will make a difference. And so I've never had anything like that happen, and was really wonderfully surprised and really grateful when I got the money to give away, because then it felt like, okay, this was the right thing to do. Because there are people who are out here way before me. There are people out here doing great work, and I want to make sure that they have resources that they need. And so that made it work for me. So that was a big one. That was a big one. And for me to have the opportunity with you to be able to fund organizations and to believe in them, to see what they're doing, to see the magic that they're doing in their locations and to believe in them and to write that check. Oh my God, it feels so great. It's just awesome. And so I feel like now I want to be a funder. you know, it's like I think in my next career is because it feels really great to be able to move resources from here to here where it's needed. And I had the opportunity to do that.
I think a lot of times, in a lot of ways, when we think about Black people and the erasure that has happened to their contributions, that has happened to their labor, it is the unseen. And what we're asking for folks to do is to believe that there is a way through the history that we have had in this country, in the US with one another, to believe that there is something better for us collectively, to believe that there is healing available, and to put our resources, to put our hearts, to put our whole body and self into that belief, right? Even though we don't have a full proof that it could change, we believe there's something else that's possible. And so it makes me think about how this current financial system has really taken that away from us in a lot of ways, how our current financial system has shown that we don't really believe in a lot of the potential and the power and the innovation that comes from Black people. And so how have you noticed that this extractive sort of capital, the way that we have been moving, has limited opportunities for Black creativity, Black expression, Black food, Black art? I mean, a lot of the folks we're working with, when we're saying farmers and food producers, we're also talking about artisans and creatives and teachers and so forth. How's our current financial system shown that we don't care? And I guess maybe thoughts about the way that it's limited these opportunities.
When you starve people from resources, then it has all these other impacts and results. And that's what we see. That's what we see in our communities. And that ain't the whole truth. That ain't the whole truth, because they be trying. But again, what else do I see? What else do I see? I see Runway. I see all of our entrepreneurs who are just, it's like coming through the cracks and still thriving and being genius and being brilliant. I see it constantly. I see out here, I mean, when I think of farmers, they're entrepreneurs. We shouldn't have any Black farmers right now, given the way the opportunities have been taken from them. We shouldn't have any, and yeah, they're struggling, but they're still here. And I see generational farmers who have to be so much better farmers, so much more inventive, because they don't get the resources than any of their white counterparts. They're still here. So I think that there's a fear of our power, that we will manifest our power and our ability to survive and thrive in spite of all the grave obstacles that have been put in our way. And I wonder, like, who would we be? What would be our situation, really, if we did not live with racially based obstacles? And I wonder where white folks would be, if we didn't have racially based obstacles. It would be another world. And they don't want that world. They don't want that world. But we have each other. And we have those folks who are dedicated, white folks who are dedicated to changing this. things are changing right now. In my experience, what I'm seeing a lot of white folks with resources who are saying, I have too much. This is not fair. How can I change this? And they're stepping up. And they're stepping up. And I'm seeing resources going from one side of the fence to the other. And it's just an incredible time right now. And so that which is slowing it down and trying to stop it, all the institutional ways that try to stop it, then even on the same side of the fence, there's those who are saying, oh, no, 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 not on my watch. We're going to do something different now. And they're leading the way. And it's just incredible to see. So I've got so much faith. First of all, I got faith in us because we are, Lord knows that we've been through everything. I don't even know how we got through the middle passage. So I don't even know how I'm sitting in this seat, to tell you the truth. Okay. What it took for me to sit in this seat is like, ancestors, I don't know how they did it. But then to be here now and to have this legacy of survival and thriving, and then to have this onslaught of resources that are turning towards Black folks. And I'm seeing it. I'm living it. I'm the living example of it. It's just a wonderful thing to see and to partner, for it not to be exploitative, to have real relationship. And because that's what it takes. It takes creating relationship and not transaction. And this world is so transactional. And that's not how we roll, And so when you come in with relationship and resources, then we can partner, we can get something done. And so that's what I'm seeing. So I'm seeing so much Black entrepreneurship right now. And it just feels so wonderful.
This is my big question, but what would it look like if we invested in an economy, if we had an economy that loved Black people? What would be some of the outcomes of that from your purview?
There's a very beautiful sage, wise person who said, and I use this a lot and I believe it, that the end is in the beginning. The end is in the beginning, which means that how you begin carries the seeds of what it's going to look like, right? So you want to begin the way you want to end, at least with a lot of the seeds that you want to end with. The way we began in this country, with the enslavement of our people and the devastation of the indigenous people and the genocide. And I think that, honestly, I have to tell you, Jessica, this country, an economy that loves Black people, the seeds aren't there. Can it happen in the United States? Maybe once we compost a whole lot of people, we grow a whole new crop. We certainly move in that direction now and have been moving in that direction. And so what I see is, again, I see the rising up of folks with the resources being able to face, because until we face the truth, we can't go forward. We got to go backwards to come forward. We have to heal backwards.
We have experience of when we get to love on Black people with our money. You and I do, because we share Runway, we share so many communities of where we're seeing it happen. We know what happens. And so what are some of your favorite examples of investing in Black joy?
Runway. Runway is one of my absolute favorite examples of investing in Black joy. It is so much joy. Runway, our portfolio of entrepreneurs and how we bring people together in community. We have the community days and everybody's on Zoom and everybody gets to know each other. It's family, and that's relationship, and that's joy. And these people, these entrepreneurs would not have anybody. We are their resource. They would not have it otherwise. And I feel the work that RUNWAY is doing is absolutely, absolutely by far my favorite example of investing in Black joy, because we love it as well. I have to say that the work that we did with the Land, Food, and Fund, what is it called? I never can remember the name of the damn fund. Land and Food Fund, whatever it's called, where we gave away that $1 million. That was joy. That was joy. That was wonderful. When I think about what Pot Liquor Capital is my sister organization with Jubilee Justice that Mark Watson is heading up. Oh my God. It is so much joy. We have a portfolio now of Black and brown farmers that we are giving all kinds of grants and loans and recoverable grants and really getting into their lives and into their businesses and making a big difference. It's wonderful what we're doing, what Pot Liquor Capital is doing, and then of course I always think about Katali Foundation. They have shown the way to all of us, the decolonizing of their procedures of how to vet, what to do, how you put money out there. People used to tell me, I know somebody who has, family foundation, a lot of money in the family foundation. And this was when I was a newbie. I didn't know much, I was like hanging around trying to find out where the money at. And this white woman, and she was talking about how hard it is to give out money. I was like, why is it so hard? And she started explaining to me, because then money could do more harm and this and that and how, and then I look at and I thought, okay, I was always trying to metabolize that. I thought, don't seem like it's that hard to me. I've seen in the last 3-4 years a wave of investment in Black entrepreneurship and the joy that goes along with that, the Black joy that it creates. So we're in a tsunami, I believe. We need more. We need more. We need more because there's so much harm. There's 400 years of harm. Shall we not forget?
And so what advice would you give to somebody who is considering making this investment, using their money to support a financial system that loves Black people?
Yeah.
What should they be doing to,
again, we could be transactional and say, find somebody to get, but that's not it. We got to go to the roots. I mean, that's the thing, like going back to agriculture, right? The roots of our culture, of our lives, and the roots of our soil, all of that is connected. It's all about going back to the roots and feeding the roots with what's healthy. And what's healthy on the people side is truth-telling information. I would say, go backwards, learn about your family, learn about where your wealth has really come from. Go back, understand where it's come from. And then I would say, begin first with healing any harm that you found right there. Maybe you can't go back to, you find that, your family owns a textile company where you've made your billions and it is connected to the cotton, that's connected to the enslaved people. There's always a connection. You find that out. And it was in the state of Georgia, for example, and now you're in New York. What do? Is there some place in Georgia? Who's doing the work in Georgia? Go back to where the harm happened that your particular family was involved in. That is, I think, when you start healing that, you heal your psyche. And as you begin to heal the psyche that you never wanted to see, but you're feeling it. You're feeling it. When you have this urge to do something, you're feeling this disjunction between the psyche that's been hiding and who you really are. And so when you bring those things together by allowing the knowledge to happen, the storytelling, the truth-telling, fixing some of the harm in ways that you can, go under the ground, go to Georgia, go there, meet people, make it real as you cleanse from how you have benefited to this moment. You have to have courage, deep courage to do this family research. You start there, you make those repairs, you let go of shame, because shame is just, it's no good. Letting go of that, working on all of those layers, right? And then you can work towards justice in other places that you see. And I think that that's what it takes. So I say, go back. Don't write a check yet. Do your homework, do your research, love yourself, let go of shame, and then move forward in relationship and not in transaction.
Konda, thank you. That was beautiful. That was so beautiful. How can truth be a path to abundance? So this sort of recognizing the truth of what has happened, creating more abundance, not only for the person who's recognized the truth, but ultimately the abundance that we all get to share. And just wondering if you had some thoughts about truth as a path to abundance.
Oh gosh, yes. That's a good one. And I think when I think about truth, what does truth do? Truth unleashes something, right? It allows something to let go of. It's letting go of that which we've been hiding from. Knowing, and not that people know that, there's lies or untruths, but when you dig down and you get the truth, you really unleash, you let go. And when you let go, then absolutely within you, the abundance first begins here in your heart. The abundance of being able to feel free, liberated. That's where we're all trying to head. We all want to just feel this freedom and liberation from all that binds us. So let's look at that abundance first, because I think we start internally. And if we start internally and we do this truth telling and we allow ourselves to just, understand and work on forgiveness of your people, and understand too that was the time of the day. That's what people did back then, right? And there's no excuses, and work towards whatever kind of forgiveness you can, and within yourself as well. The abundance that starts to develop is this internal abundance of freedom, an abundance of liberation. When you have a liberated soul, then, the sky is the limit. And you're able to manifest. You're able to manifest when you're tied up in a knot that you don't even know you're tied up in, but you're just walking the path that you're supposed to be walking, that everybody's telling you you're supposed to be doing. And there's something inside you that knows stuff ain't right, but you're still just walking this path until you really do that work, open it up, liberate yourself. Then all there is abundance. That's the result for you, for others, for all those around you, for people who finally see you, who, family members who see you differently. It's like, you've changed. Yeah, my ass is free. I'm freeing myself. I'm freeing myself from the lies, from the not knowing. I'm freeing myself. And once you're free, girl, you could do anything.
Konda, thank you so much for today. Mighty, mighty powerful. You are always like an inspiration, a wind beneath my wings. Just you have given me believe in you, love, believe in you, money, believe throughout this whole journey. So thank you so much for all of that, and thank you for giving us a fantastic conversation today. May it go where it needs to go and do the things that it needs to do to help us get that liberation that we're so calling forward.
May it be so. May it be so. And that the work that you're doing too, Jessica, and the book, and I'm just knowing, I'm seeing it and knowing its transformation in the world. And so I'm just like, anything that I can do or say to be a part and help you in any way. I love you to the depths of me and your brilliance. So, your badass self. And I'm just trying to keep up with my sister over here.